Hey, it's Dan. Welcome back. This is iAllegedly, and I've got a good one for you today. The coast here in Southern California just keeps getting pounded with these huge waves, and I wanted to come out someplace that I thought that people have seen a few times, but just to show you how different it is right now. So I came down to Moss Point in Laguna. I love this place because when the tide's out, it's all green and mossy. But we have definitely seen a change in the real estate market. And it's no longer a seller's market. Sellers need to get realistic. It's a buyer's market. But this is happening around the world, and I've got some great stories that go along with this, plus the business economy that I'm going to cover for you today. Before I get into it, please take a second. Please hit the like button. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Also, guys, hit that bell notification so you get notified, and also check to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. Also, don't forget we have an email list. If you want more exclusive content, there's Patreon. And don't forget, guys, one thing that's cool is foreclosure.com. Set up a deal with us where they will give you 7 days free access to foreclosure.com. Absolutely free. Use the link below for iAllegedly. Sign up for it, and they'll give you 7 days free for foreclosure.com. I love this site because you've got foreclosures, short sales, bankruptcy sales, discounted homes, a little bit of everything, guys. It's absolutely a cool site. Now, real estate's changing. First things first, Canada, there's a great story below that says, the froth is off the Canadian market. People need to get realistic with what is happening when it comes to Canadian real estate. And just a great title. I've talked to so many people over the course of the last few weeks in Canada, and it is crazy what's happening there. But this is what's happening globally right now, guys, is we're seeing such a massive turn. I gotta turn this way so you guys can get a really good glimpse of this. This guy's just passed out. Obviously he was out there swimming and Patrick's full of that. Just taking it easy. But you're seeing now Canadian houses go with $200,000 discounts. And you're seeing crazy price drops when it comes to Canada. I have had so many people write me lately, and I'm going to cover some of this right now. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, Carol writes me about her mom and dad owned their house in Cape Cod, paid the house off, absolutely beautiful, little nice little house. They decide to settle the estate and sell the house. They go out, and the house gets a value of $585,000. Nice house, good deal. House has gone up substantially. The house sold for $770,000. $770,000, guys. Almost $200,000 more than the asking price for it. Now, you're going to sit there and go, see, Dan, it's still going. No, somebody was hitting the crack pipe when they bought Carol's parents' house. And that's how you should look at this, because this cannot go on forever. Now, people are going to write us, and you're going to see comments below about how great it is in certain pockets of the country, but this is not happening, guys. Here in Southern California, you're starting to see more and more houses on Zillow, Redfin, all these other places that are dropping substantially right now. Month after month, okay? Week after week. Look at foreclosure.com, just check it out. Check out areas that you think are hot, because you'll be surprised how many people are in foreclosure right now. Or my favorite is pre-foreclosure, which is they haven't had a foreclosure filing yet, but they're over 3 months behind in their payments. Trouble. Now, flash forward to the mortgage industry. And you got guys like Dave Ramsey saying, hey, this has never been a better time to buy a house. Okay. Things are going to go up. There's not enough inventory. And you hear shenanigans like that. Well, thanks, Dave. Okay? Then you get somebody like Therese, who is a mortgage expert, has been doing it for over 20 years. This is who you want to talk to, because Therese has seen the ups and downs. She's seen shenanigans with the dot-com boom when people made money for companies that lost money. She saw 2008. She saw everything. But what she says is, Dan, this is totally realistic. The problem with the world right now and where there's going to be trouble is middle management. Middle management is getting laid off, and the threats of getting laid off are left and right. Apple steps forward today and says, we have a hiring freeze right now, and there will be no more hiring. Why is that, guys? Why is Apple not hiring people if everything's great? You're seeing more and more people right now that are buying houses, and the housing prices are dropping faster. So, again, look at this guy over here. This guy's waiting to get in trouble. I have no idea who this guy is. Anyways, there's going to be massive layoffs. You're starting to see hiring freezes at all the tech companies. You're starting to see the data sent out. You're starting to see problems with the big banks. And my favorite story that was sent to me, which I cannot verify, some guy says, Bank of America already filed bankruptcy. That's why they're closing branches. That's impossible, guys, because you wouldn't be able to have a big bank like that go under the radar that much when it comes to filing bankruptcy. You're starting to see home builder sentiment. The home builders, their opinion of where the market's going over the course of the next year has never been lower, guys. Okay, look at this. Completely wiped out the beach, guys. Let's lay a towel out. It's okay. So, the home builders know that there's a problem. We saw Australian home builders talk about how they had all those bankruptcies. This is coming to a city near you. Now, what we're seeing in a lot of areas is you're seeing more and more communities build big housing projects. Great. But the problem with it is that who's going to buy these houses? In Sacramento, there are people that wrote me today and said that the house that they bought has a $50,000 price reduction right now. Why is that? Okay. Why is it that their neighborhood's dropping so much? Because they were overvalued to begin with. And the buying frenzy that we all witnessed ended. It's over with, guys. This is majestic, man. I don't care what you think. This is absolutely unbelievable to watch this. Now, look at that. This is not a surf spot. There's a tremendous amount of rocks here, but this is just beautiful, guys. Absolutely stunning. And look at the waves, how they form way out there. 5-6 foot wave right there. I mean, that is really cool. Look at that. Oh. I pity and I feel sorry for the people that waited to sell their homes. I had another subscriber write me a great letter today and said that they had a family member selling their house and here's what they wanted. Now think about this. They would only accept offers that were over the list price of the house. Well, heaven forbid you raise the list price. So they only wanted offers over the list price. They also demanded that when the people bought the house without inspection, that they got to live in the house for 90 days rent-free. And guess what? They sold the house with those conditions. Now other people are like, well, we want the same thing that you got for them. And the realtors are saying, those days are done. That was 4 months ago. It's over with, guys. Completely done. So, share your thoughts on all this stuff, guys. Again, it's now a buyer's market. If you're going to buy a house, it's a buyer's market. You need to have housing prices drop dramatically before they're affordable. That's what I think. And again, it's all relative to where you're going to live. If you're paying cash and you're paying multi-million dollar amount for a house, and you're in a neighborhood like this, where the house I walking down here was $17 million. You're walking by that neighborhood, Well, they're not going to drop the price. What? Oh, you want to get a $500,000 discount? Okay, that's big. That's it, guys. But people that buy these houses don't finance them generally. Now I'm going to correct it with that because people are going to send me the Drake story for the 100th time. Okay, Drake the singer financed his house and has I think it's $273,000 a month house payment. All right. Okay, crazy. Okay, better sell some records, dude. All the subcontractors that are not getting paid, all of the vendors that are not getting paid. What about the financing for these houses? When you talk about like Therese sent me information on Sprouts Mortgage, when you have a mortgage company that has 500 people laid off, doesn't that concern you? Doesn't that don't you sit there and say, wait a second, this is nuts that you've got this many people getting laid off for this. So share your thoughts on all this stuff, guys. Let me know what you think, and I'll get some more of this for you too. Like Disneyland waterfalls, guys. Very cool stuff. Absolutely beautiful, completely. Just a beautiful sign of nature right before your eyes, guys. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? I love this. Now, one of the biggest problems that's not being talked about here in the West is the water shortage. You're seeing farmers now in Central California. Now think about this. We're the 5th largest farming source and food source in the world right now. California. They're cutting back and more farmers are not farming right now. What does that do to people? What does it do a year from now when there's no produce? What happens, guys? Well, I'll tell you, people are going to be suffering huge right now in the next year. You're going to see massive food shortages like you've never seen, vegetables and tomatoes and things that we grow here in California that are not going to happen right now. So this leads to another story, and that so many areas are not farming because of the water shortage. We see huge problems with the Colorado River. We see huge problems with Lake Mead, Lake Powell. They're finding, look at how it's just coming in, guys. They're finding bodies in drums. They're finding people that are getting washed ashore. It's about almost to the point with Lake Mead that it's not going to be able to power anything. And there's hundreds of thousands of people that get their power from Lake Mead alone. So there's that. Now, somebody sent me something also about Texas. They're not growing wheat in Texas. They're not farming in Texas because of the heat. The heat problem that they're having around the world right now. In the UK, in Europe, they're having some of the hottest days on record that they've ever had. And it's creating massive problems with this. In Texas, they're having rolling blackouts and the threat of rolling blackouts. One thing I got a kick out of was they blamed this on Bitcoin mining, which is so ridiculous. When do you guys sit there and say enough is enough? Because the Bitcoin miners that were in Texas, they were there because it was cheap electricity. That's why they were there in the first place. Now they can't mine. And now you've seen such a pullback of cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin. Think about this. There was hundreds of millions of dollars of Bitcoin that was moved out of different wallets and transferred out to basically cash or other things, and the most that they've ever seen in basically a 2-day period. So something's happening with crypto, guys, and people know something's happening, but to have hundreds of millions of dollars, 600 million to be exact, transferred out is crazy. And no one's supposed to sit there and talk about that or know to be concerned about that. This is crazy out here. I spoke to the lifeguard, and he said, normally he's out here because the tide's not rushing in like this, and he's got people laying on the beach, and there's none of that right now because of just the massive waves that we're getting right now. Just really beautiful though, it really is. So In addition to the water problem, you're seeing that, wheat's not getting grown in Texas. This creates a problem. Iowa, other states that have sent me, that they're cutting the wheat farming back. Guys, when do you sit there and realize that there's going to be a problem with a food shortage? And you've got to go out and you've got to prepare for this and stock up and get dry goods, get things that you can store for a long period of time, because if they started to grow tomorrow, you wouldn't have a supply of tomatoes, 6 weeks from now. Grow your own garden, have your own food source, and look at things like that. Okay? It's really important to do that. So share your thoughts on all this stuff, guys. Now, in addition to higher interest rates and the impending higher interest rates, we're seeing more and more when it comes to home builders offering discounts and incentives for people to get in the door. We're seeing price reductions. We're seeing, add-ons where upgrades, to buyers are being offered. We're seeing different incentives to help people get into houses, which are all a bad sign. Now, when it comes to the banking and when it comes to the mortgage problems, things are going to go up, okay? Mortgage rates are going to go up. The first thing is we're seeing problems with bank earnings. Bank of America, for example, is anticipated to have a real problem right now in the coming days when they announce that. Now, here's one that's absolutely shocking, is that, Bank of America was using an app to communicate with people, which was against banking regulations, and they're quietly paying a $200 million fine for that. They sent employees home and were texting about accounts, which was a violation of different banking laws. Now, I read this in the stories below, and I'm like, oh, that's fascinating. Morgan Stanley already paid a $200 million fine for the same thing. Wait a second. How come this stuff doesn't make the mainstream? How come we don't have to hear about it until after they pay these fines and that this stuff is illegal? And also, does this lead to the phishing? Does this lead to your password being sent out when it's not supposed to? That's something to look at, and it's something that we should have this conversation about, because Bank of America especially has had nothing but a password problem, Zelle problem, people, phishing, stealing passcodes and things like that, and transferring money out of accounts. Now, flash forward to Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs, another investment bank, quietly hidden in their financial statement that they lost $2.6 billion trading stocks over the last 4 quarters. Wow. Talking about a commercial, if you're at Morgan Stanley and you heard that Goldman Sachs lost $2.6 billion trading stocks, why would you ever be there? Seriously, why would you ever be there? That's the greatest commercial ever. But because they're a public company, and this is one thing, the crazy accounting that you get with these public companies is that they get to hide this inside of a balance sheet. Hidden here. Oh, by the way, we lost 800 million here, 600 million here, 500 million here, added up $2.6 billion. But look at the story below, because it's all in there. And it's insane that they were allowed to do this. And then now, Morgan Stanley, who I'm sitting there saying, hey, they should use this to their advantage, they step forward and they say that they have problems too, and that they're seeing earnings problems. So all these banks that have fleeced us and made nothing but money are not making money, guys, and we're paying for this right now. So share your thoughts on all this stuff, because it gets pretty crazy at a certain point when you have to ask yourself, where do you bank at? You have to have a bank, guys. People sending me more and more stories on the internet about how they can't get online to their bank. ATM's down. Woman sends me a bank out of Florida, ATM network completely down, and it's been down for 3 days. Not on the news, nothing you hear about, but this is something that should concern you. And she said, thank God, Ann, that I took your advice and put some cash in the house, but once this was reported and I found this out, I said, well, when are they going to fix it? That's what I was curious about, because that's the $64,000 question, guys. When these banks shut down, and again, I am of the believer that there will be a credit freeze. I am of the believer that this repo nonsense, banks take money and transfer it amongst themselves to have the appearance of liquidity at night. And I believe that this is going to be like musical chairs one night, that we're going to wake up and the banks are going to be shut down. Now, look at China. China with the mortgages there. People that have mortgages in China are so furious that they stopped making the mortgage payments in China. To the tune of thousands of people did this. So with that, with these thousands of people that didn't pay their mortgage payments, China said, we have to do something. We've got to get the builders, get them funding. We've got to get houses completed. We've got to, make it so that this is not such a public problem. Well, it's a worldwide problem now, guys, because we've all heard about it, avoiding the waves. But, I get people that write me and say, Dan, this is the end of debt. We're going to be forgiven of all our debt. That's why I don't pay my bills. You're an imbecile, okay? That's not going to happen. Your credit is important. I spoke to a woman today who that's all she does is credit repair, and you need to take a look at your credit report, and I'll talk about this later on sometime, but you need to fix the problems that are on your credit report, and there's not just going to be some debt jubilee that they're going to forgive everything. Okay, again, I would go buy a $17 million house and have the best payment I could for the debt jubilee, and then we would have a massive iAllegedly party at my $17 million house. So share your thoughts on all this stuff, guys. But this is just stunning out here, guys. It's absolutely beautiful. But the cool thing is, after this happens, we come back out a week later and the beach is totally transformed. It totally looks different. I was talking to a lifeguard about how it's going to be interesting to see if the moss survives the rough waves, and just the whole look of it. It's just absolutely going to be a different place a week from now. Now, another story out of Morgan Stanley where they said, listen, the bear market for the stock market is nowhere near over. And like I said, nothing goes up in a straight line or down in a straight line. But guys, you're going to see problems, and Morgan Stanley sees that it could go down another 20%. Who knew? Okay? Now, the airline industry got $54 billion of our money, tax dollars, as a bailout to fix and to keep it open. Only problem was they've done just a completely horrible job since the health crisis started. So think about this. Baggage claim losses are up 30% during this time. 30%. You're a fool. If you go on a plane and you check your bag, you're an absolute fool. It's like swimming. Hey, there's sharks out there. Oh, really? Yeah, it's beautiful though. Okay, I don't want to carry my bag. You know what a pain that is, Dan? Okay, well, they're up 30%, guys, so that's on you. So if anybody bitches about losing that suit or that dress or, oh my gosh, the stuff that was in my bag, it's on you. It's 100% on you, because it's happening all the time around the globe. It's not just one airline, it's all of them, because they're all incompetent, okay? Elon Musk wants to reply to the Twitter lawsuit. Twitter filed a motion to have the case heard faster and to have it sped up, which they're entitled to do. Now, Elon wants to file a cross complaint, and he wants the speedy trial. He wants his cross complaint added to that. Now, here's the thing. His cross complaint is the bot issue that I've already talked to you guys about and told you about. What's fake on the account? What's fake on Twitter? Lots, tons. And again, it's not 5% like they say, but they have something to hide, and they don't want it hidden, and you better pay us, you better buy this, you better keep your word and go through on it. And he's holding all the cards, and he's saying no, and his attorneys filed a motion so that they can have a cross complaint, and most likely, every attorney I've talked to today, it's 2, and the story said that most likely the judge is going to grant this because they just don't deny people the ability to sue one another and to have their case heard at the proper venue, which in this case is the Delaware courts. Okay? So share your thoughts on all this stuff, guys, because it's crazy to think about everything happening right now with real estate, with the mortgages, with the interest rates, and the stock market yesterday. We woke up to an up market. At the end of the day, it was down. Okay? Wow, why? Well, builder sentiment, guys. Builder sentiment killed that. I'm going to finish this video with these last few stories. And the first one is GE, General Electric, has just announced all the name changes for their new companies and the new spin-offs. GE Electric, GE Financial, GE Renewables, GE It's With Your Mom. I mean, GE everybody, guys. It's crazy. They're going to have GE Solar, GE all this stuff. Okay, fantastic. Remember when General Electric was a company that made stuff? Remember that, guys? Okay, I do. Light bulbs and furnaces and stoves and things like that. They're real business. I don't think of them that way anymore. I'm sure that's why they're having the name change festival. Anyways, next one, Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez got married, which is good news because she got away from A-Rod. So, as a person that's not fond of the Yankees, that's a good thing. I mean, she could have married Derek Jeter and that would have been acceptable, but he was already married, so there's that. But she chose one of the worst Batmen ever, Ben Affleck. Probably a nice guy, and Jennifer is back together again. Final story, and this is like under the no duh category from Study Finds, and that is that half of all of you, half of all Americans get less than 3,000 steps a day. That's insane, guys, okay? Danny is out walking his ass off, getting over 20,000 steps a day, and they say that you should get 10,000 steps a day, which you should do, guys. Health is everything, and from a guy that's trying to lose a little weight, it's the best thing you can do is get yourself in shape, walk, and do this. But 3,000 steps a day, I'm telling you, I noticed this morning because I had to charge my Fitbit this morning, that after I had morning coffee with the dog and with everything I did this morning, you know, going out to the car and coming back, I had almost 2,000 steps already. So what do you guys do that you don't get 3,000 steps a day? Please don't forget to hit the like button. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Join the email list. Join all our social media. It's all below. It's one link and it takes you to Twitter. It takes you to Instagram. It takes you to Facebook. It's a social media festival below. And if you want the 7-day free trial for foreclosure.com, use that link below because that is cool and I love it and it's free for 7 days. Check it out. Onward and upward, guys. I will see you guys very soon.